Joining me now is Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. You know, Congresswoman, I haven't seen you since you were a candidate. It's been a long time, so it's wonderful to see you as a full congressman. You've been doing a great job.
Thank
you for being here. What do you make of this FBI? Honestly, it appears to me to be the deep state trying to appease Donald Trump before he comes into office. What do you make of this move by the FBI?
Well, it's good that they're trying to save face, but really until we get cash confirmed, I don't really have faith that the FBI is in the right direction. And so there needs to be a top-down overhaul of the entire bureau. You know, instead of going after grandmothers and people who are standing up for the unborn, they need to be going after domestic terrorists. And so I look forward to Cash's overhaul of the FBI.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing thing to see. I mean, again, we have to see if he is approved by the Senate. But the way it's been going this week, I think, frankly, Donald Trump's going to get everybody that he nominated. But having said that, you look at everything the FBI has done, not only in the past 4 years, but during Trump's first administration, when they did the Operation Crossfire Hurricane, very sophisticated title for essentially spying illegally, in some cases, spying on Americans and changing all these FISA warrants and everything in order to do so. And then, of course, going in the past 4 years with the raid on Mar-a-Lago and all the other attempts to use lawfare against him, the FBI seemed to be going so willingly in that direction. No, I mean, it wasn't like the DOJ was twisting their arm to do it.
Yeah, most certainly. In fact, what we're finding is, you know, just like there's good and bad of any agency, the FBI seems to have been infiltrated, though, and really had top-down leadership and bureaucracy that's really been pushing a leftist agenda. Make no mistake, the DOJ and I'd argue that the Biden administration was actually pushing for there to be a weaponization of the FBI against President Trump and his allies. But to be clear about something, you know, the intelligence community as a whole, I think that we're going to find this cycle with Section 702 FISA reauthorization that there's going to be some big changes. We're finding that, you know, especially right now with the new incoming Congress, people that are more loyal to President Trump and the America First agenda, that we might not have some of the same issues we had previously. And really, we have 2 years to really put all the elbow grease in and get his agenda passed, and I think we'll get it done.
You know who agrees with you on the general outline that you just said is General Jack Keane. General Keane, wonderful four-star general. He's been in the mix of the political military world his entire life. He said, getting rid of DEI in the military is not going to be tough. Most of these guys were dragged kicking and screaming into that environment, except for the you-know-what kissers at the top who were doing what the Biden administration wanted them to do. So they're just going to turn it off. But again, you look at something, and this isn't directly related to the FBI, but you look at Homeland Security and what they have become. I mean, it started out as an understandable reaction to the 2001 attacks, the 9/11 attacks. But it has, in many cases, become a monster of its own. Rand Paul has been very critical of Homeland Security. He had something to say about it earlier today. I just want to play that and get your reaction. Roll it.
Instead of focusing on critical threats like securing the southwest border, DHS has shifted its gaze inward, targeting law-abiding Americans. DHS under the Biden administration has often used its vast powers to target Americans exercising their constitutional rights. It's become an agency more focused on policing speech, monitoring social media, and labeling political dissent as domestic terrorism than addressing genuine security threats.
Do you agree with that, Congresswoman?
Oh, yeah. I actually blew the lid off of DHS's joint state actor relationship with corporations like Meta, Google, YouTube, and them using under DHS CISA to actually illegally surveillance and coordinate the suppression of free speech in this country, especially, again, at the time against a sitting president. That would have been President Trump. So when I say Kristi Noem getting in is incredibly important, but also they need to go through and fire every single one of these corrupt bureaucrats that were responsible for this.
How do you separate the wheat from the chaff, though? That's the question. I mean, a lot of, do their records speak for themselves, these deep state bureaucrats?
Oh, yeah. I would say that anyone coming in secretary-wise needs to do an internal investigation and actually have people go through whatever archives they have on the records. You know, the government likes to keep archives of everything. Go through emails, ensure that you are seeing who was actually making the calls to violate people's freedom of speech. Frankly, those people need to be blacklisted and never ever get hired again in Washington, D.C. If you're going to violate someone's constitutional rights, you have no place in government.
Well, it's in DOJ with regard to Department of Justice. It's going to be relatively easy getting rid of the prosecutors. That's usually done in a change of parties when a new administration comes in, just firing all of the prosecutors and bringing in your own people. But in DHS, you have this ingrained bureaucracy now because it's been in so long. They've got their roots in deep.
Fire them all. What I can tell you is I was the only member of Congress that wanted to go after Garland. I brought the inherent contempt resolution to the floor, and there was 4 Republicans that voted to keep him actually from being accountable. Any other American would have gone to jail. And so what I will tell you is this new Republican Party incoming, we're not playing games. If you are going to work against the president's agenda, the agenda for the American people, you're going to get primaried.
Quickly, some people would just say it's too late. You just got to get rid of the entire organization. Get rid of DHS entirely and distribute its positions to other departments and agencies. What do you think of that? Very quickly.
I mean, I would not be opposed to that. There's plenty of overlapping agencies that have overlapping jobs and authorities.
Yeah, well, it's going to be very interesting to see. And again, I was kind of interested today to see Kristi Noem. The Democrats kind of pulled back on their earlier attacks earlier in the week because they weren't going anywhere. They were getting hit back harder than they were throwing. Great to see you, Congresswoman. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.